I used to be just like you. I had a wife I loved. I had a family and a home. I had my friends.
For Life tackles the terrible injustice of a wrongful conviction. It's based on the life of Isaac Wright Jr. Serving a life sentence plus 70 years for a drugs conviction, he became a paralegal behind bars and ended up overturning not just his own conviction but that of many of his fellow inmates. Starring British actor Nicholas Pinnock, it deals with the industry of incarceration that has decimated the black community in America.
A large part of it was institutional racism and the ability for the government to create their own narrative. The very first thing that the government does is disenfranchise the public from the situation so that no one cares. And because of that underlining racist element, you're dealt with in the system in ways that's contrary to our country's constitution and our country's laws.
I want to turn to you, Nicholas Pinnock. You've got experience of both sides of the pond. You've worked in America. You're British. When we talk about the American justice system, when we talk about the extraordinary statistics of black men in American jails, how does that compare to Britain?
It's not too dissimilar in the UK. It's just not as blatant. It's not as obvious. There is a higher rate of black men in the UK judicial system than there is white men or any other demographic, same as here. So I think the problem here and what we're highlighting in For Life is not just a US problem. It's a global problem.
It's kind of depressing that we're still even having this conversation, but you have got a new president. Everything goes according to plan on the 20th of January. And you've got a vice president who, for the first time, is not just a woman, but she's also of African-American and Indian-American descent. What do you want the new team in the White House to do that will actually change the reality on the ground?
Biden was responsible for some of the most sweeping laws related to prison, incarceration and sentencing that actually resulted in the biggest mass incarceration this country ever had. Harris herself, as a prosecutor, former prosecutor, has a track record of really incarcerating black men at alarming rates. That was their past. They have attempted to atone for that. And I believe because they have that past, they're probably in the best position to make changes based on the mistakes that they've made in the past.
Nicholas, I think as an actor, to try and get under the skin of this issue, and you did apparently wear his wedding ring during the shoot, is that right?
Not his wedding ring, no. It was a ring that he wears now. Have you got it with you, Isaac? I wanted elements and essences of Isaac in Aaron, and I wanted Isaac to be present.
Injustice on the scale that you suffered, it must be incredibly hurtful and make you very angry at the same time. How did you manage to channel your rage against the system?
And it's a very profound question. It's a heavy, emotion is a very, very heavy burden, and it can be extremely self-destructive. And I went through it early on. I went through an issue where I had to decide when I was representing myself before trial. I decided to represent myself. I had to decide how I was going to deal with that emotional baggage. It was such an incredible burden that even it affected my writing and everything.
So in a sense, you're a bit like Nicholas. You had to be an actor. You had to step out of yourself and be someone else.
Well, I'm not as good as Nicholas, but it was close enough.
Nicholas Pinnock and Isaac Wright, thank you very much indeed.
Thank you.